Hello everyone, I am Lama, an architect from Damascus, once a volunteer in the Syrian Arab Red Crescent, the SARC, and now a project coordinator in its water and rehabilitation department, a specialized team of more than 600. In total, the SARC depends on about 12,000 volunteers who have been the main emergency responders in the country from the very beginning of the crisis. The SARC and its main partner, the ICRC, stood shoulder to shoulder from the very beginning of the crisis and to this day, in the field of water, sanitation and shelter. Now, the SARC works closely with about 15 UN agencies, INGOs, and National Red Cross Red Crescent societies. In 2011, when the crisis started, the SARC resolutely built up its humanitarian response under the motto "For all people everywhere." The Water and Rehabilitation Department was created, and we worked extensively on building a capable and a professional workforce. By now, 2,000 young engineers or architects like me have gone through our training programs. This effort was driven by a very strong Syrian desire to support each other and to lead their own response. For us, it was natural and essential that we have a voice in the implementing and designing of our own programs for our own communities and people. However, crisis should be first seen through the lens of those directly affected. It's in that spirit that we joined forces with our partners such as the ICRC and combined their expertise and experience with the unique knowledge and connection that our volunteers have. The result is an incredible team where diversity becomes a strength, but also keep us Syrians at the center. The generosity, solidarity and courage of SARC volunteers came at a price. However, as to this day, 65 volunteers have been killed because of the conflict. Now, as I speak to you, 13 million people are still in dire need of humanitarian assistance in Syria. Livelihoods, essential services, education have all been shattered by the fighting and still at a risk of further collapse through the protraction of the crisis. In the last decade and until today, the SARC water and rehabilitation teams have been engaged in thousands of engineering projects, hundreds of pure emergency responses, daily water trucking, drinking water supply, setup of temporary shelters, sometimes very big with waves of displaced people, up to 50,000 people at once, such as in Aleppo in 2015, or up to 100,000 people, such as at the fall of the Ghouta in 2018. As of today, our engineers are still engaged in daily drinking water trucking for 500,000 people. On the other hand, hundreds of more complex engineering projects have been executed on large urban water, sanitation or power supply systems, from the sources to the end users. Nowadays, for example, our teams are engaged in large drinking water systems, such as Khafse, designed to serve 4 million people with up to 800,000 cubic meters of treated water per day. They work on sewage lines repairs and optimization in Damascus or Aleppo suburbs and in the reconnection of essential high, medium and low voltage power lines, such as in the eastern Ghouta. Our engineers are also engaged in dozens of reconstruction projects in health structures, including COVID-19 facilities, schools, permanent shelters, industrial public bakeries, morgues, prisons, houses of returnees. All in all, at least 12 million people benefit from 300 to 400 of our projects every year. With these few words, and as I speak to you now from Damascus, all I can do is to promise that we will honor the memory of our lost friends and family members, and that we will continue the work for the sake of those millions of people who are more than ever today faced by the devastation of war.